If you want to understand the jealousy of God, get into a relationship with a man or a woman. And when you are in love with that man or a woman, let another man come and sleep with that woman. Have you ever asked yourself, why do human beings feel very hot when they are cheated on? Why that natural response? Where do you think that pain comes from? That pain is a pain, it's not a pain of betrayal, it's a pain of jealousy. That's where the pain comes from. That pain someone feels when that which he says, this is exclusive to me, has been trespassed. And you say, this damn say is exclusive to me, and only for you to find out that your neighbor slept with her. This man is exclusive to me, only to find out that your friend's wife slept with. Are we together? That hurt that you feel is a hurt of jealousy first. Because to you, that is a possession wholly unto you. You see, relationship, what you call faithfulness in relationship is actually holiness. When a thing is wholly unto a person, it means that thing can only be accessed only to that person, exclusive only to that person, separated only to that person. That's what holiness is. Innate in every man is this kind of jealousy that God talks about. Exodus 34:14. For thou shalt worship. You see, it's in the context of worship, the jealousy of God comes. Thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. So, in the context of worship, you see God, the jealous God, appears. Because when you worship a God, worship is possible because you acknowledge the sovereignty of that God over you. You acknowledge that he is your master, and because he's your master, you've become like a slave unto him. You've become a possession unto him. And only in that special relationship would you see God reveal himself as a jealous God. God will never be jealous over that which he has not first possessed. If you are his possession, you will see him jealous over you. If you were never his possession, even though you come to church, whatever you do with yourself, you will not see God, the jealous God, who is ready to fight, who is ready to punish you out of that jealousy. You will not see the father who can chastise his son because he loves that son. Are we together? Yes. So, the jealousy of God is only kindled upon those things that belongs to him. And when one that belongs to God is unfaithful in worshiping God, and he begins to go after other Adonai, then you see God who is jealous over that which he raised, that which he owns. You see that God rises. So, but to understand God, the jealous God, you must look to the known, just as the book of Romans counseled. The invincible things of him from the creation of the world made manifest, are clearly seen, being understood by the things that were made. If you want to understand the jealousy of God, get into a relationship with a man or a woman. And when you are in love with that man or a woman, let another man come and sleep with that woman. Have you ever asked yourself, why do human beings feel very hot when they are cheated on? Why that natural response? Where do you think that pain comes from? That pain is a pain, it's not a pain of betrayal, it's a pain of jealousy. That's where the pain comes from. That pain someone feels when that which he says, this is exclusive to me, has been trespassed. And you say, this damn say is exclusive to me, and only for you to find out that your neighbor slept with her. This man is exclusive to me, only to find out that your friend's wife slept with. Are we together? That hurt that you feel is a hurt of jealousy first. Because to you, that is a possession wholly unto you. You see, relationship, what you call faithfulness in relationship is actually holiness. When a thing is holy unto a person, it means that thing can only be accessed only to that person, exclusive only to that person, separated only to that person. That's what holiness is. God is separated from his creation. He's in a class of his own. The seraphims are beings of holiness because they are holy unto God. Even before the angels, the seraphs will cover their face because only God can behold the beauty of their face. Their face is holy unto God. You cover your hair as a woman in Jewish culture because your hair, which is the sign of your beauty, is holy unto your husband. So only your husband can look upon your hair, because in Jewish culture they consider the hair as part of beauty. You see, Muslims, the wives of imams especially, I guess, they cover their body, everything, even their hand, because they believe their beauty and their body is holy unto their husband. Only their husband should behold their form, the color of their skin, whatever is called beauty, solely for their husband. And because of that level of holiness, what you claim to experience as love for that person, part of it is jealousy over that which has become your exclusive possession. So God put that inside you so that you can understand what it means for him to say the Lord your God is a jealous God. You cannot begin to describe the pain of being cheated on. Trust me. Even though you are a mighty man, that thing can wreck you. You will feel worthless. You will feel violated. Even though you've not officially married that person. Not to talk of when you married that person. Now you see, the problem of Israel, whenever they turned away from God, was the problem of an adulterous wife. Because God had married himself to them. God was not dating them. God had married. He had made sacrifices to call them out of Egypt, to purchase them. He had committed his resources to them. He has singled them out as a nation holy unto him. Out of the nations of the earth, he chose the nation of Israel. He made a covenant with their fathers. He displayed his might. God will not commit himself by might and power to a thing that will not belong to him. God doesn't operate that way. Are we together? This is why whenever God will speak to his prophets in those days, especially in times and seasons when Israel was carried away in idolatry, he will describe them as a wife that has gone after other husbands, other men. A wife that has everything, lacking nothing, yet she plays the harlotry. And what prophet did God tell to go and marry harlot again? Hosea. God wanted Hosea to experience his pain. So God said, oh my God, you don't understand. So God told a holy man, he said, go and marry harlot. And then provide for her, give her love, give her care. God wanted to show Hosea the prophet that the problem of Israel was not a lack of support from God. It was not that the God that they laid claim to was not there in times of their need to provide a safe haven for them. He married them and brought them into a land that he by his mighty power gave unto them. Not by their own strength, not by their military wisdom. So they were lacking nothing. So he wanted to show Hosea that this thing that Israel is doing is not because I'm not capable of helping them, delivering them. It's not a lack of power that's the problem. It's not because I've become weak in an aspect, so they need to go after another God stronger than me. It's because there, inside them, is a harlot. Inside them is a people that is not holy unto their God. Inside them is a nature that does not get satisfied with only one Adonai. So, you see, one of the powers of harlotry is the spirit of whoredom, an adventurous spirit that seeks adventure, that finds pleasure in breaking the rules. Don't you know some people have that spirit? They derive pleasure in breaking the rules. There is a special pleasure of darkness. This is where the spirit of perversion takes over people. There are some people whose sexual life will never be sweet if it doesn't enter into perversion. Perversion gets them excited. They go and look for pornographic videos where, adults are sleeping with little children. And, oh my God, this thing should not be even spoken. So, it's not a problem of sex. No, it's a problem of perversion. It's an energy inside. And that energy wants to be fed. That's why a man will go and take 3 women and sleep with them at the same time. It's an energy that needs to be fed, that takes pleasure in going beyond this set line. Yes. So, the spirit of harlotry that was in the wife of Hosea was the adventurous spirit. The spirit that was accustomed to breaking the rules. So Hosea married a wife. Meanwhile, Hosea was known as a prophet. You don't know the burden of Hosea. See, before you say, I want to be a prophet, and before you say, I and the children whom the Lord has given unto me, we are for signs and wonders unto Israel, sit down and think. Because your wife cheating on you may become a sign and a wonder. You will go and say, Lord. He will say, that pain, preach from that pain. Preach from that pain. I'm a woman of God. Your husband, you will come inside, you see a husband with 2 women. That will become a burden for the nations. The liberation of the nations. The chastisement for their peace will come upon you. So that by that pain, that stripe, they can be healed. And then imagine, after a very powerful service, you are now tempted. You are now saying, okay, I'll go to the bar, but I will not drink anything. And then guess who approaches you with pant and bra? Is the prophet's wife. Forget about that, my husband. Do you know meanwhile God will tell him, go back and bring her. Do you know how many times Hosea looked at her sleeping on the bed and said, make I just kill this woman now and be free? Jealousy. The Lord your God is a jealous God. So if you cannot fully grasp what it means to have a thing that is holy unto you violated, that pain, that uselessness. Have you not seen people who will ask the question, say, what else are you looking for? What else? You cannot even put your mind around it. The woman will look at the man and say, what do these women have that I don't have? So for people to walk with a God that is separated, they themselves has to have and understand what it means to be holy unto their God. Lord your God is a jealous God. You see, when he began to speak to me about these things, I now discovered that when a lot of Christians appear before God, a lot of worshippers, they're only adding to his pain. Because when we lift our hands unto God, it's our harlotry that he sees. So he will hide his face. Have you ever seen someone cheating on you and yet they are bold about it? That's what a lot of people do when they come to the presence of God. They know that they have other gods beside God. Yet they say, you alone are my God. I've caught you, there's videotape, sir. And yet you are saying, you alone are my God. He said, when we lift up our hands, he will hide. That's what he told Isaiah. He said, I will hide my face from them. Yeah. It's in the corridors of worship. You can either stir up the jealousy of God for your good or stir up the jealousy of God against you. And when God, as a jealous God, rises, if he wants to visit judgment, he will not just punish you. He will go on a rampage. He will punish your children and your children's children. Do you know that if you love someone, the level of pain you will feel when that person betrays you is a multiplication of the level of love you felt for that person. The depth of your love multiplied will be the depth of your pain when you feel betrayed. You will not grieve for someone you never loved. Trust me. There are some people that if they cheat on you today, you will thank God that now you've gotten an excuse to leave them. These are the blessings we need. You look at the person and say, no, it's not me, I don't need that blessing. You look at the person and you tell the person, it's not you anymore, it's now me. I cannot recover. Meanwhile, as soon as you break up with the person, you now say, Jesus, now I'm free. I can go back into the market. This time I will settle down. Only in few occasions do you see God telling you, I'm going to visit your sins on your children. One of those occasions is when God, the jealous God, is dead. Hi. Don't make a promise to God you cannot keep. What we are talking about is beyond pastor. That's why no matter how much you fall as a pastor, if you fall to the extent that you can go to Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, you've committed a grave sin. The prophet says, is it because there's no God in Israel that you've decided to go to Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? He said that sick bed that you're on, you will not come down, you will die there. So this king could do any other thing, but when Israel's king, that is supposed to mirror their eternal king, now goes to Beelzebub, his sin is now beyond him. He has defamed the God of Israel. Hosea 1:2. When the Lord began to speak by Hosea, the Lord said, go take yourself a wife. Have you not heard all this message that they tell you? A woman is a wife before marriage. This woman was a harlot, yet God called her a wife. Be careful of this message, sir. Be careful of this message. You make yourself a wife before marriage. A wife is this, a wife. If you are not a wife before marriage, you are a woman, you know, and all that. And he said, go take yourself a wife. Of harlotry, and children of harlotry. For the land has committed great harlotry. So the land did something to God, and God could not explain this thing the land did to him in words. So he said, prophet, I'm going to make you experience my pain. You see, if you want to know the way a people treat God, look at the way they treat the prophets. If a land is hostile towards God, you will know their hostility by how hostile they will be to the servants of the Lord, the messengers of God. Nigeria has not truly repented. Only a very few people are repenting on camera. The Western world has infiltrated Nigeria. Look at their hostility towards God. The Lord said to Hosea, go take yourself a wife. He that finds a wife, that's why I don't do prophetic connection, you know. Okay, you come and stand here. How many single men are in this church? Come up. No, sir. No. I will pray for you and I will tell you, go in this thy might. Go take yourself. God did not say our phone number is this, and go take yourself. I will show you the location. Any woman you pick, she's going to reflect something. Harlotry, because she's of the children of harlotry. The land has committed great harlotry by departing from the Lord. I see the problem of worship. A people consecrated unto God have now departed from the Lord. They've now been violated by another strange spirit, enticed out of their house. Like wives enticed, husbands enticed out of their house. And then you see a senator going to sleep in the campus on the bed of a 23-year-old girl. And then the girl is rubbing his tummy and saying, Daddy. And then the man is saying, I will die for you. A senator of a country can become a fool by the mystery of harlotry. By the mystery of harlotry. Jesus. So he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim. Wow. So there is a family of harlotry. So harlotry can be institutionalized. It can become a family tree that if you visit, anyone you pick from there will mirror that reality that their fathers gave to them. The mystery of harlotry. He said, the house of harlotry, the children of harlotry. So we don't care what her name was. Oh my God. And she conceived and bore him a son. Normally, if a woman gives birth to a child, the coming of that child brings a sense of responsibility between, into both her and her husband. You know that. Even the most wicked man, when you have a son, there is this special bond you will form. That's why it takes a level of wickedness to sacrifice a child from your loins. Meanwhile, there's certain levels in darkness you cannot ascend until you commit such levels of atrocity. Because you've crossed the threshold. This was why the indignation of God turned against Israel. When a man took his only son that was supposed to be heir and slew that his only son on the walls. That sacrifice was too great. Then the Lord said unto him, call his name Jezreel, for in a little while I will avenge the bloodshed of Jezreel on the house of Jehu, and bring an end to the kingdom of the house of Israel. God is saying he's going to bring an end to the kingdom of the house of Israel. It shall come to pass in the day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. And she conceived again and bore a daughter. Then God said to him, call her name Lo-Ruhamah, for I will no longer have mercy on the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them. Are you seeing what jealousy can drive you into? This kind of jealousy can drive God to a point where he chooses to alter the life of his prophet. Give his, oh my God, you don't want to see the jealous God rise against you. You will be sentenced to 20 years of destruction. Do you know that after that kind of trust has been broken, it is difficult to build it back? Even though, see, that's why you need to understand how loving God is. You don't understand. You see, when the people of God committed sins of idolatry, God always remembered. God forgets and forgives our sin. But the sin of idolatry, God will always say, this was how your fathers did. This thing you are doing was exactly what your fathers did. This thing, there is always a recalling when it comes to sins of idolatry. Because even though you are massively loving, to forgive a husband, a wife that has committed the sin of adultery and cheated on you, betraying the sacredness of that which you share, there is always something in your heart that will always trigger that memory. It's natural. You can't, if you like, be the most loving wife. It sits down there. If you see him come late, all the whole memories will flow back again. It's a strange thing we're talking about here. That I will have mercy on the house of Judah. May God give you understanding.
Hello, thank you for watching the video, and I hope it was a great asset to you. And I hope it was also very useful time. If you haven't commented, if you haven't liked, please do that. And for more videos, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more videos. God bless you.